Check, check, check.
Hello?
Good morning, everybody. What's wrong with you, Carla Marie? What are you all confused
You
about?
sent me an Instagram video and I'm watching it.
Oh, yeah. It's like hacks for your AirPods or something.
But you can share audio with a friend, but can it be a non-AirPod friend? Also, I have spatial audio. I didn't know what it was until now.
Oh, like you didn't know what it did?
Yeah.
It's like surround sound, but...
You gotta show it a picture of your ear.
What?
You show it a picture of your ear. You do when you set your Face ID, it's the same setting it looks like, where you have to like show your face.
Interesting.
Because they're just creating bots of us that live on this island somewhere. I'm just gonna warn everyone now. Are we on?
Yes.
I forgot my makeup, so just see what you get. Heather said, "Why doesn't Prime allow you to auto-renew your sub?" Because that would mean
Yeah, that's actually... I did ask that question.
they'll never do it.
So Twitch and Prime are run by different teams at Amazon. And in some places, Amazon Prime is actually so cheap that it's less than the Twitch sub. And one of the things the Prime team doesn't want is people to kind of like set it and forget it with this kind of free thing, because they end up losing money. Which is ridiculous, because we're talking about a $1 trillion company here. But they gotta pay all those employees and Bezos. Holgi, thank you very much for your subscription at Prime. Lisi, thank you very much as well.
How come it's not illegal for people to sell dogs when their dogs have babies?
I don't know. That might be a state-by-state thing, too. I don't know if everyone can just be their own dog breeder. Jess from Minnesota, thank you very much for your subscription at 44 months on a 44-month streak.
That came out of my screen, that noise. Jacob got a sub.
Jen and Lisa, thank you very much.
Wait,
Is Jacob in here?
Wait, go back. Go down. Go down to you.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And you are the show, so thank you very much for being here, because otherwise it would just be the Carla Marie and Anthony. And then that would be it. That's about it. But as you enter the chat, if you're a lurker, feel free to actually jump in the chat at some point.
Yes.
Say hi, tell us your name, tell us where you're from. And if you don't know what that term, a lurker, is, would you like to explain, Carla Marie?
It's quite obvious.
What is it?
It's someone who just hangs out, watches the show, and doesn't say things. So we don't know you're there because
Just
you're
lurking in the background. We do have a bunch of stuff to get into today. Yes, Carla Marie.
Nara's in here. I get to go see her this week.
For what?
I get to pick up my boob drugs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Your pre-boob drugs?
Post-boob drugs.
So, but you need them before you go, obviously.
Yeah, so I'll get my antibiotic. I think it's 2 different kinds of antibiotic. And they prescribe Percocet, but I likely will not need it. So I'm excited.
Lindsay just asked if she is being called out for being a lurker. We weren't calling out anyone specifically. And I forgot that you are a lurker.
I'm literally looking at Lindsay right now as we speak. That's so meta.
And Nara, for those who don't know, works at in the pharmacy at the Fred Meyer that's by us.
I can't see her at the moment.
No.
That would be awesome.
That would be a interesting vision that you had there.
But Lindsay works at Seattle Cocktail Club, and her desk is right over there on the other side of the room. And it was like 2 months ago. I didn't know she was watching Twitch, and one day I walked out and she told me I was so funny, and I haven't lived it down in my own head.
Sunny Survivor 7 said, maybe I'm a lurker. Watch religiously, but always working at the same time. No,
that's fair.
But we've seen Sunny Survivor in here before. You don't have to always be in the chat.
Chatting.
Right? I'm trying to see if there's any other lurkers that are making themselves seen and known here. Camille from New Jersey. I'm usually a lurker on YouTube. And Jess from Minnesota, thank you very much for that gifted tier 1 sub. So let's get into the list, Carla Marie.
Okay.
We are going to jump into PROMposals because we do know someone whose kid is doing a PROMposal right now.
I don't want to give too much information.
No, we're not going to like out them or their idea. Did it happen? Do we know?
I don't know. It was supposed to happen yesterday, but I don't know if it did.
Okay.
Are we talking about what's happening? Are you reading the list or what?
You started a sentence.
But you lobbied to me.
No.
Yeah.
Volleyed?
You said we do know someone whose kid is doing a PROMposal.
Yeah.
And then what was I supposed to say? The whole story?
Whatever you wanted to say.
Yes.
All right. We're going to talk about the attacks, which was one of the stranger experiences or interactions I've had.
I have ever had in my life.
Stranger danger, which surprisingly is less weird than the attacks. Donut Dad and our new best friends. So let's start, Carla Marie, with PROMposals.
Okay. This debate isn't really about if they're annoying or not, is it? Or stupid or not?
No. I don't think they're stupid. I think
it's cute.
They can be over the top. And I also think, because every now and then, because we as humans just love pain and misery, a PROMposal rejection goes viral, right? And generally speaking, it's the high school boy who went all out and the high school girl says no. And because it's the internet and because, it's the world that we live in, people start like piling on the girl. Be like, how could you say no? This was so romantic, blah, blah, blah. My problem with PROMposals is you are allowed to go as over the top as you want. She still doesn't owe you a yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
There's
That's
still
the
a
point
chance.
it's the point of it being a posal.
Yes.
You are proposing something.
Yeah, it's not a prom force.
Instead of saying, you're coming to the prom with me, bitch, there's a difference.
Not a promduction. So I do feel bad because those things go viral, and that girl, when she does reject the boy, is usually dragged online.
And that happens for the rest of your life also as a woman.
Yes.
That you're a whore, slut, whatever, dumb, if you reject a man. So I guess it's kind of good to start them young so they understand,
Which, if you reject me, is always true. Those things are always true. All right, yeah, it's not a promulgation, as Letty from Queen said. So does anyone in here have a kid, or maybe you are doing it yourself, who is planning a PROMposal?
So our friend's kid is planning a PROMposal. And I won't give away too many details, but it's so cute. It's like on theme for stuff that she's into.
As it should be.
And I said to my friend, because this is her oldest child, who obviously hasn't graduated yet and hasn't gone to the prom yet. I said, is this the biggest day of your life as a mom? And she said, yeah.
That's crazy.
It actually is. She's like, I'm so proud. Like, it's so cool. I'm so nervous. He's so nervous. Like,
Well, it's got to be cool to watch. Because listen, from every parent I've talked to, they obviously love their kids, but their kids are also little trash gremlins.
Yes.
Right? At times. Right? But I think it's got to be cool to see your kid get to an age where not only do they care very much about this thing, but they're also putting in the effort to show this person that they care enough about them to like know their likes and dislikes and things like that. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be wild to watch the thing that, especially as a mom, you birthed, you expelled from your body.
To be like, and just a heads up, like you're probably going to break up if you like date.
Yeah, they'll figure that out.
Maybe. I mean, there's a chance.
Also, it's just a PROMposal. They're not dating.
I know, but if you're both single,
Yeah.
I think this is his crush from what I've heard.
It could be like
So how does this?
I took a girl named Casey to prom. And Casey was really she was like a track friend.
I thought you were going to say trash panda.
No. We ran track together. She was a year younger than me. She actually dated one of my friends who was a year older than me the year before.
Okay.
He graduated, went to college. They broke up. We remained friends. At that time, like no one was really doing PROMposals, right? Because we didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phones with cameras.
You couldn't even text.
No, we could text.
Okay.
We were texting.
Did you text prom ?
No, so we would hang out every now and then.
Just the two of you?
Yeah.
She definitely had a crush.
I don't think so.
Let's get her on the phone.
I don't even know her number anymore. But I this is like the sad part of my high school career is I didn't even think anyone liked me. So I wouldn't have known who to ask that liked me. So I was like, I just got to find a friend to take to prom with me.
You're just so like, this is the problem though. You're just so like, woe is me. Nobody liked me in high school and I didn't know.
No, I didn't know if anyone did.
You're so oblivious. Like
that was also part of the problem. Yeah, I found out much later in life that like
every girl liked you.
Not every girl. Not a handful of girls.
Okay.
Would have been interested and thought I would actually have asked them to prom. But
wait, they thought that?
They thought that I was going to ask them. I don't know.
But Casey got the golden rose.
Something like that. What am I? Isn't that for the Golden Bachelor?
I don't know.
So we went out for like ice cream or something. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to ask her when we go grab ice cream. That'd be kind of nice. And I froze up and I couldn't do it. So I had my license at this point, so I ended up dropping her back off at home. And then when I got to my house, I was like, just call her right now. So I called her.
What a loser. You should have asked her.
So I called her and I asked her over the phone. I didn't want to do it through a text.
Right.
But I asked her on the phone. She said yes.
So you used the landline or your cell?
To call her?
Because there's no service at your house.
Probably a landline. Yeah.
So like Michael or Justin or your mom could have picked up the phone and heard you.
Yeah, probably. But you have to understand, we grew up in a house with boys. No one was doing that.
Listening?
Yeah, no, like my brothers didn't care if I was talking to a girl. I didn't care if my brothers were talking to a girl.
What?
Yeah, no. My brothers have had girlfriends I've never even known or met.
I mean, I had my own landline in my bedroom, but before that, it would be like, hang up the phone!
Oh, yeah. Well, we also, like, I was a big AIM person. I wasn't really chatting on the phone very much.
Both. You would be on the phone on AIM. I guess you couldn't be.
I couldn't be on the phone and on AIM. Eventually, we got, like, a cable thing, but I don't think that was until I got to college, maybe, or late high school. Anyway, a lot of people say they didn't go to prom.
No one PROMposed me. I planned the prom, bitches!
So how did you get asked? Or you had a boyfriend, right?
Well, I got asked 3 weeks before. My freshman year, I got asked to the prom 3 weeks before.
Okay.
And we had junior, senior prom combined.
Okay.
So
we didn't have any, it was just senior prom.
Because if not, then 12 people would be at the prom. We had a small school.
Yeah.
So I got asked like 3 weeks before by a senior, and my mom said, no, you're not going to the prom. You're a freshman. And I was like, thank you for ruining my life.
That's probably the
worst
worst
day of your life. This is why I love
life.
emo music. So then
Was that the worst day of your life?
At that point, probably. Yeah, probably. So whatever. So the next year, I went to the prom with my boyfriend, who was a senior. So my sophomore year, I went with, I think it was just assumed.
Yeah.
And then junior year, I went with my own boyfriend, was my own prom. Same thing, senior year. By the time I was a senior, now keep this in mind, this is now my prom.
Yeah.
I am a senior. I am the same age of the person that invited me to the prom, and my mom wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
My sister's a freshman.
Oh.
My sister gets asked to the prom by a junior, and my parents say yes. And that is when, I've talked about this before, I didn't talk to my family for 2 months. Until this day, I like think about it all the time, and I laugh, and I'm so glad I did it. I would sit at dinner, and I wouldn't speak, and they'd be like, what's your problem? I'm like, you ruining my life. My life. You wouldn't let me go to the prom, but you're letting her go to my prom. You ruined everything. For the rest of my life, it's ruined. And and I'm still salty about it. It's
That's
so
very
freaking annoying.
Well, but that's the problem. And not that you were the oldest child, but you were the oldest in that bunch of children that your parents had, in that group of children.
Yeah, like going through that generation together.
Yeah. It's that's the bad part.
If I ever have
you
children,
get told no to a lot of things,
mm-hmm.
and you kind of break barriers for your younger siblings. Like my brothers were allowed to do way more stuff, stay out later and whatnot than I was. So, and it's not like I had some super restrictive upbringing, but it's just the way things work.
Well, when you become a parent then, and you are that, say, that older child, do you parent, I'm not talking about being favorites, like, do you parent differently knowing that? Are you like, I'll say yes to you, or, well, if I say no to you, then you say to the younger one, nope, your brother couldn't do it, you're not doing it.
I think it's tough, and I think it's partly because...
I would have to.
And again, it's different with your parents because you weren't the first time that they went through raising a child, although you were the first one they raised together.
And there were cell phones.
Right? But I think, like, I see it with some of my younger cousins. The oldest one has more restrictions, and they're expected to, like, be cleaner or be more proper or whatever. And then I think you just start giving up. You start realizing, A, a lot of those things don't matter. Yeah. Right? You start realizing that no matter how clean you want your kid to be, they're just going to be dirty. And
Ashley's bedroom was a mess, and they would always yell at her, but I would get in trouble more because my bedroom was on, like, the floor where, not the main floor, it was next to my parents' bedroom where the bathroom was, but if anyone came over and they had to go to the bathroom, they'd see my room. Hers was the attic, so she just got away with it.
But the other part is your parents are able to be more free with your younger siblings because you exist. Right? Like, your parents or my parents could let me or could let my brothers play outside longer and with less supervision because I was also there. You get it?
Oh, yeah, but no.
Because I'm like,
I didn't watch Ashley at the prom. I didn't speak to her.
It doesn't matter if you did. It's just the idea that you were also there. And if something really terrible went down, at least you were there for your sibling. I think that's part of it too. Is us as older siblings, we forget that we are part of the reason our parents are allowed to be a little more relaxed with the younger siblings. It's just part of it. But a lot of people saying they didn't go to prom, which I thought about.
I could never.
But I guess all my friends were going, so I wanted to go too, which is why I ended up asking. But if it was even one of my friends that said they weren't going, I probably would have bailed too.
Like, prom was the biggest thing that happened to me in my life up until that point.
I didn't really care.
It was huge.
I didn't really care about it.
Well, I planned it, right? My senior year, our theme was Hollywood.
Okay.
So everyone got a favor, and it was like a clapper thing, and you put your photo in it.
I don't think we had a theme.
And we had, I forget what it was the year before, but like it was all very like red carpet and cinema and whatever. So.
Let's see. Martha said, I went to the senior prom that night. We took a...
She went to senior prom, then they went down the shore for...
Yeah. But she said she would never let her kid do that now.
I know.
I think I would. Just because I did it, and like, everyone kind of does it.
I think that's why I wouldn't.
And now it's so much better, right? Because now you can track your kid's phone.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I had a crappy little flip phone. And service wasn't even that great back then. I mean, there was a lot of times I lied about not having service, but I also didn't have... I also, at the same time, didn't have service a lot. There was... Oh, the one thing that always confused me about prom, and I don't know if anyone had friends like this, but every now and then, high school kids, guys and girls, will make like a pact. Right? Like, oh, we're going to go to prom together, right? And then they end up in a relationship. And
with somebody else.
With somebody else. And they don't go to prom with their boyfriend or girlfriend. They go with the person they...
Well, I had that pact if we weren't in a relationship.
No, but there were kids in my high school who would go to prom.
That's
like, they'd have a boyfriend or girlfriend.
No.
They'd go with their friend because they're like, well, I promised this person freshman year.
That's a loyal person, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, though. It is kind of... Although, in reality, who are you going to stay with longer?
The friend.
The friend, most likely. You're probably going to end up marrying that friend at that point.
Can we take an early break? I have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I guess we could do that. It's actually not even that early. So we will take a break, and we'll come back and talk about one of the weirdest interactions we've probably ever had. Yeah, that was fast. All right, the ad is ending for anyone who is not subscribed in a couple seconds, and then Carla Marie should be back here. There she is. No, we're not on yet. I mean, the mics are on. All right. What's wrong, Carla Marie?
Nothing.
Let's jump back into the show, shall we?
Okay.
Here we go. So, on the list, we only got into PROMposals so far. So, if you're just joining us, don't worry, you didn't miss that much.
No.
We are going to talk about a couple things that we were able to be a part of on Friday and over the weekend. And we'll kind of tell this story out of order.
Yes.
So just be patient. We were at Golden Gardens on Friday evening. What, Carla Marie? And there was a large group of people that were there. We were invited by a friend. And for some reason, one of us brought up New Jersey. And
Yeah.
out of nowhere, this happens any time you're within earshot of someone else from New Jersey.
It
They'll
happened
jump
3 weeks
in
ago.
and they'll say,
So-
oh, I'm from New Jersey as well.
Yeah.
And then you start talking about what part, blah, 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 what exit. So we started talking to this guy. I forgot what his name was.
So, what was his name? The reason he popped up, we had mentioned something about New Jersey. Then, like, a minute later, we were talking about how there were so many pasty people on the beach.
Yes.
And I said something like, including us, and I said something like, everyone's going to be so sunburnt on Monday.
And for the record, the reason we were talking about pasty people on the beach was Friday was the first really, really
So
nice
hot.
day in Seattle. So everyone came out of hibernation.
It was like the
And-
whitest.
It was all pasty butt cheeks.
And I was like, oh my God, everyone's going to be so sunburned
Yes.
on Monday because it was going to be nice all weekend. And he said something like, well, they're certainly not from Jersey. And I thought he was like saying a dig, trying to be a dick because we had just made a Jersey comment. And then we were like, what? And I think he's like, oh, I'm from Jersey.
Yeah.
So he pops up and we start talking to him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's from like the Asbury Park,
Toms River
area. So we start chatting with him, and it's very typical stuff. Where you're from, blah blah blah. How long you been out here? And that's where things got weird.
Because I was like, you live here now, right?
Yeah.
And I said, we've been out here 8 years. How long you been out here? And he
said, I've been here since the attacks.
and there was just like this moment of like, well, the air just got sucked out of the entire beach.
Which we never got confirmation, but has to mean he moved after 9/11. Right? Like,
I have
the only other attack I can think of is like Pearl Harbor. But guess what? He wasn't that old.
I have never in my, I guess in the how many years since it happened? 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone ever? And I was like, that man has been out of New Jersey way too long.
Yeah, it was just such a weird comment.
I've been here since the attacks.
And
I was
listen-
like, just say 2001, bro.
But
Like,
even
what?
if he said, listen, I moved right after 9/11, like, it wouldn't have been, it's an event, right? We measure time now.
Or just say I've been here since 9/11.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said.
Yeah. But I was like agreeing, yes.
Oh.
But my brain was catching up.
And even though, yes, it would have reminded us of a terrible day,
That's fine.
it's a way, there's a post 9/11 world that we live in. That's just a fact, right? So that is a day that things, you can start counting time from that that moment.
But that's the thing. The name of the incident is not the attacks.
Yeah, that was the weird part.
And I went, cool. So I don't even know what the rest of it. We were both like, Homer Simpson, gotta go.
Yeah, we kind of ended
And he
the
was our
conversation.
age. He was maybe.
I think he was a little older than us, but Yeah, or since 2001, like Angela Spokane and Carla Marie said earlier. Lenny brings up a good point. The one thing I thought of very quickly was, did he mean that like COVID was an attack? But I don't think it.
Fred the mailman got it.
What?
His asthma attack. No, because he would have he did allude that it's been a long time.
Yes. Yeah. So, and he was definitely here longer than COVID, I guess. So that wouldn't make sense. But man, sometimes people are just so weird. Does that mean he's a bad person? No, it just means he's a weird person.
No, we shouldn't have asked. Run like a husky.
Oh, we should have asked what
No
attacks?
way.
No.
It was immediate. I got a bail.
Yeah.
I think I left Anthony.
Here's the thing to think about, right? Like, we can complain a lot about living in America, but think about this. Generally speaking, if someone said the attacks, if you're our age, there's literally one day that you think of. If you're in your 90s, 80s, 90s, there might be 2 days, right? You can think Pearl Harbor as the attack too. So in almost 100 years, the entirety of this country's history, really, there's 2 days that we can think of when someone says the attacks. Do you realize if you lived in a lot of other countries, there'd be way more days that you could think of as attacks? Just a little perspective there.
No, I agree.
This is a pretty great place to live if you just like general safety. General safety.
Now, let's be very clear, everyone in this chat. The next time you meet a stranger and you're trying to talk about things, don't be weird.
Yeah, don't be weird. Oh, man. Some people, like, and this is where I wish there was a way we could pause life, right? And you could just say, like, time out. Bring in the conversation coach. And then someone just drops from the sky.
Yeah, but I wonder how
does a little sidebar with this guy and says, hey, man, that thing you just said could have been super normal.
This is how I would say it.
Yeah, that interaction could have been super normal. Instead, you made it fucking weird.
Yeah.
Here's what you do next time. We're going to rewind and we're going to give you another shot. And then that person, that conversation angel, goes back into the sky. And then it starts back up. Kind of like Alex Mack used to, like, pause.
We got an example of Saved by the Bell.
Or Saved by the Bell, yeah. But this would be like a life coach comes in or a conversation coach comes in, tells the person what they screwed up. And I'm sure I could have used it at some point in my life.
I'm sure
Lots
you
of
still
points.
could.
Yeah. I think that'd be great.
Fred the mailman says, if I say since the disaster, I mean my marriage.
All right. But moving on.
So, yeah.
Moving on from the attacks.
The best was, like, we walk away, we go sit down on the beach, and I go, I don't even know. I think I just looked at you and was like, the attacks.
And I just said, yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that was super weird.
Because sometimes, like, this is what's so annoying is I'll think something is so weird, and I'll say to Anthony, wait, that's weird, right? And you're like, no, there was nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, what? It was weird. So the moment of having that validation was nice.
But moving on from a stranger being a weirdo to Carla Marie being a weirdo, which is why I positioned these this way.
I was stranger danger.
Yes.
For a child. Mm-hmm. So, like Anthony said,
for the record, Carla Marie does not have a child locked up anywhere.
Nope.
Right now.
Didn't
even at any point.
No, actually, thank you. We were at Golden Gardens here. It is a beach there. We were with a group, which we'll explain all that again, like Anthony said at some point. But there were like friends of friends of friends there. Some people had kids, whatever. So, actually didn't even know this group, this one family was with us at first. And I saw them walking up from the water. And the little girl, maybe 8 years old, had a pink shirt on with a like sequin cat on it. And I was like, cool shirt. And she was like, thanks. And I just went on my merry way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like at this new thing in life where I like to pump up little girls and make sure they feel great about everything. So I was like,
it's nice.
Paying compliments to little girls. That's my new thing. Don't clip that. Okay.
Okay.
So then I don't realize that they're a part of our group. They are. So there's a s'mores station. And I did have s'mores, even though it's probably not a great part of my diet right now. You had
a
37
s'mores. Yeah.
S'mores.
There was a lot. They were going to go to waste. Someone had to eat them.
So I had one marshmallow on my s'more, but I didn't realize there was like, I put one marshmallow on 2 prongs. Okay. Right? Watch this little girl do it. She put 2 marshmallows.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man.
Wait, you fit 1 marshmallow on those things?
Yeah. It wasn't, I don't know what I did. That's not the point. So I said,
Okay.
oh man, 2 marshmallows? That's a good idea. I should have did that. And this is the moment I realized I had to leave this kid alone because she goes, that's my mom right there. And I wanted to go up to the mom and be like, whatever you've done to train this child, she's not doing great.
She basically
but then I
said,
was
stop
like,
talking to me.
I don't want to make it think I'm great.
Oh my God. If a kid looks at you and says, that's my parent or that's my mom, that's my dad over there, you've done something terribly wrong.
But trained so well.
Yeah. To stay away from creeps.
But now I'm like, that kid's probably had nightmares that night. I was like, oh, fuck.
And she literally just said, that's my mom over there?
That's my mom right there.
Smart kid. Great kid.
Cool, bro.
Also, stay away from Carla Marie is usually good advice. So as weird as the guy who said the attacks was, I think Carla Marie might actually be the person that takes the cake for being the biggest creep.
No, because, like, I'm not actually a creep. I was just trying to be friendly. So sue me.
Yeah, but you didn't call your mom to warn her about that guy.
What?
That kid basically was like, Mom,
but
got a weirdo here.
You know, that guy's definitely weird every day.
So are you.
Martha said my kids would have talked to you. See? Psh, these Pacific Northwest kids.
Well, listen, let me be I'm going to defend the kid and the parent here. The kid should have said, the second that kid got freaked out from Carla Marie, should have been like, yeah, that is you better watch yourself. My parents are right here.
But also, it's not
Don't
like I
steal
came
me.
up out of the water. I was very clearly in our group.
She doesn't know you. You're just some weird adult. Right? Just some weird adult talking about her clothes, talking about her food. Sounds like you're a little obsessed, Carla Marie.
So you know what? You're on your own, kid. Tried to give you.
They're both weirdos. Carla Marie is a weirdo. We're all. That's you know what? That's the point of today. We are all a little weird.
Speaking of,
yes,
not weird. Water. We saw 10 to 15 seals in a pod.
No, who is speaking of water?
I saw someone say water. Oh, I said water. I said it's not like it came out of the water. I said it's not like it came out of the water.
Okay.
Wildlife is thriving at Golden Gardens. 10 to 15 seals. I mean, they were like doing tricks. They were coming out of the water, kissing each other. Mm-hmm. It was literally wild.
Yeah.
And they were just boop, 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 along doing a little show. But before that, there were 8,000 people on the beach, and there was just one seal who popped his head out and was like, you gotta be kidding me. And we were saying, how insane. This poor seal has lived this whole dreary winter. No one's there. And then he comes up out of the water, and there's people and music and fires.
It's got to be crazy. Vicky said, anytime I have small talk with a stranger or an innocent exchange, my daughter scolds me for talking to a stranger. And listen, I was definitely that way too as a kid. I would hate if my parents were making like small talk with the cashier
but now
or the
you're
server.
like, Mr. Like, bing,
now I'm like,
bing,
I don't
bing,
care.
smoke.
I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm talking to everybody.
Yes, you are.
You give me an in, we are having a conversation.
That's your donut dad transition right there.
Oh, yeah. And maybe I'm turning into this man. But over the weekend, Carla Marie and I did a bunch of stuff where we had to go to Lowe's multiple times. And the Lowe's that's closest to us in Seattle also has basically a Krispy Kreme like in the parking lot.
And prostitutes.
Yes.
Same parking lot.
Yes. So tasty treats everywhere you go in the parking lot.
I will say, sex work is work. We're not.
No, do whatever you want.
Like, do it. But
here's how I feel about.
But when I'm getting my lumber or whatever I got to get, a hose. Literally had to buy a hose.
You did have to buy a hose, but out of all the other examples you could have used, that was the perfect one.
Anyway, they're butt cheeks and they're like naked at literally naked at the parking lot.
Here's my belief, my stance on sex work. You have every right to make your money however you want to make it. If it's illegal in your state, then you also have to just deal with those repercussions. But even though I am always going to be for people's freedoms, I'm always going to support people's freedoms to do what they want with their bodies. It's not what I would hope for.
Yeah.
if I had a daughter. It's not what I would want my
Of
little
course
cousin
not.
Michelle to do.
Right.
I don't think it's a great way to live, but you have the option to live that way if you'd like. I don't think we live in a society where a lot of those women are doing that because they love doing it.
So 2 things. Naro said that's why I don't go there anymore, because I don't want to be approached, because they will. Like, they'll come up to your car.
Oh, they will.
But also,
have.
and granted, it's Washington, so we don't have protests for either things or people speaking out against this. But there are prostitutes in other states, correct?
Yeah.
Where there are also people rioting about drag queens.
Yes.
How come no one's like, well, there's naked women in the parking lot of Lowe's? Maybe that's grooming your kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
But
food for thought.
The
breakfast.
reason we brought up the Krispy Kreme and the prostitutes in the parking lot of this Lowe's is specifically for the Krispy Kreme. And after our 3rd trip to Lowe's, I said, you know what? I'm treating myself. I'm getting myself a donut. So I walked into the Krispy Kreme, and there was an older couple that was walking in front of me. And generally speaking, this Krispy Kreme has no one in it, ever. Somehow I walked in on the day where there were like 30 people there. So this older couple, and when I say older, I mean like 80 something, right? They're walking in front of me, and the older gentleman holds the door for a woman that was walking out, and she has a box of donuts. And he very quickly, those for me? Haha, no. And she kept walking. We go through the second set of doors. Another person is walking out. Bam, walking out with a box of donuts. Those for me? No, they keep walking. I'm like, there's no way this guy's going to do this 3 times in a row. Now there's a kid walking out with a bag of donuts. And the older guy goes, those for me? Kid just kind of kept walking by because he's like, leave me alone,
Stranger
creep.
danger, that's my mom.
That's my mom outside.
So was this man with his wife, you think?
Yeah.
Do you think she's probably like,
Oh, absolutely. She didn't even acknowledge that he was
she
talking
doesn't
to
even hear it
people.
anymore.
Yeah. And I was hoping that somehow they were going to like take their time and I'd be able to sneak in front of them and order, because I was going to order an extra donut if I got in front of them. That way, if he used it on me, I would have blown him away.
You would
and been like, yes, this one's for you,
I think he would have died literally
sir.
in that moment. He hit the life goal. He could die.
The apex of his life. And I do think that at some point I will be that guy.
My dad kind of is that guy. Not
I
that
will-
excessive, but he'll, like, every once in a while, he'll, like, do that. I'm like, and I'm that little, I go back to being a little kid again,
Yeah.
like, oh, God, Dad, please.
No, now I'm at a place where I'm just have fun. If you're not doing it if you're not being mean to someone, say the weird thing. Enjoy yourself.
Well, I tried.
Not the attacks thing. That was
No.
weird, but everything else. Also, leave little kids alone, Carla Marie.
Well, I mean, come on now.
There are rules.
You can't say anything anymore.
Jerry Seinfeld was right. It's so hard to be a creep with little kids these days.
So hard to be a comedian these days. I can't do anything.
You know what I forgot?
What have I got in
And
here?
a lot of these things have been coming up now. And they were known back then, but I guess culturally we were just in a different time. Jerry Seinfeld was dating like a high schooler at one point.
Yeah.
And now I think Shaq has a 21 or 19-year-old girlfriend or something. And he's like
We need to
pushing
adjust
60.
the ages to 25 because nobody's brain works before then. You shouldn't be able to get a boob job before then.
And then who else was it? Anthony Kiedis, I guess there was a picture circulating over the weekend of him at a Lakers game at some point this season. And his girlfriend was also like super young.
Yeah.
And all of those two were of age, but like barely. Like we're talking 18, 19, 20.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I keep saying how I got my breast implants at 25,
Yeah.
which seemed like old at that point. And now I look back and I'm like, you are a fucking idiot.
Yeah. But even at
Not
like
to get
25,
it, like, your brain's just still like, who are you?
25, I think do whatever you want at 25.
No, I don't think you should. I think we got to take voting away, everything.
There's a lot of politicians that would agree with you, Carla Marie. Wasn't that one of the things Vivek Ramaswamy wanted to do, was move the age to vote to like 25 or something like that? But anyway, and a lot of people would hop online and defend Anthony Kiedis, Shaquille O'Neal, like, oh, well, they're adults. They should be able to make their own decisions, which I agree. And my issue's not with the girl making the decision. My issue's with as a 60-year-old man, like, there had to be, I understand you might want to date someone younger than you, but, like, isn't 19 weird for you?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What do you talk
The
about?
prom? How was your promposal?
Heather on
but
Long Island
imagine
said
being
61 and 19 is in regards to who? That would be, I think that was Shaq.
Okay, imagine though,
Wait,
you're
no.
in high
Hold
school.
on.
You prompose to someone, you go to prom with that person, right? You're 18 by the time you graduate high school. Then you break up, so you're dating, you break up. Your ex-girlfriend starts dating Shaq, and you're this 18-year-old wiener? Imagine.
Okay, so this was 4 years ago, apparently. So this was an old image. No. Updated block. Wow, this is a lot of pop-ups. Jesus.
Oh, my God.
How many viruses did I just download on this computer by going to Times?
We have to have Norton antivirus, don't we?
Times Now News. Get out of here. I don't want to read more. Okay. So Shaq apparently had Shaq's 52, had a 21-year-old girlfriend. Man, that is a tough sell for me. And I'm not saying that, like, Shaq shouldn't go to jail for that, obviously.
52 and 21 is the difference is 30 years, say, right?
But when that girl was born, Shaq was in his 30s.
Okay, but let's put it this way then. So say my dad, who's almost 80,
yes,
is dating someone who's 51.
I know. I think once you hit 30, like, it's fair game for anyone. But the fact that Shaq at 52 is at some point or was dating someone that's 21 is weird. Like, I couldn't imagine dating someone who was born, like, right now. Right? Like, that. Think about that.
Well, no, because you're
In their
50 and
in their 30s.
What?
When Shaq was in his 30s, this girl was born, is what I'm saying.
You're
What?
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's just weird to me. And this is coming from someone who's...
You closed it.
I did. I closed the chat. It's fine. This is coming from someone whose grandfather was, I think, 18 years older than my grandmother. Also, his second marriage. They were a little older when that happened. So...
How much older? How old was your grandma when they met?
Probably in her 20s, honestly. Probably low 20s. But we're also talking about a whole different time period.
Tinder.
They were in 1920s Palestine. So
like when Jesus was born.
Yeah, like just a couple years. Just 1,920 years later. But same town. So they were probably, like, related. I wonder, like, could you trace your lineage
To Jesus?
right? Even if you don't believe Jesus is the Son of God, all that stuff. Generally speaking, we understand that Jesus was a person, at least. There was a guy, and whether or not those miracles are attributed to him or whatever, there was a person who was born at that time. His parents must have had siblings. Everyone had siblings at that time. So, like, can you trace your lineage to be like, oh, yeah, Jesus was my...
Yeah, you never hear Mary and Joseph talking about their siblings, though.
Great grand uncle.
Jesus never talked about an Easter nephew.
No.
So maybe they weren't.
That's weird.
Lenny said his wife was 19 when they met.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that
you can't have a normal.
You can't have a normal relationship. I also think it's different when you're a celebrity too, because, like, when you're a celebrity, everyone's kind of available to you, right? When you're as rich and famous as Shaq, you've got a lot of options. When you're Anthony Kiedis,
yeah, I don't
and
know.
you're a rock star and you're rich and famous, Red Hot Chili Peppers, by the way, if you don't know who Anthony Kiedis is.
Fred the Mailman said, I've dated women 20 years older and 20 years younger. We talk about a lot, but rarely current pop culture.
I don't know. It's weird to me, especially.
Oh, please. You're going to be 60 dating some 30-year-old.
That would be fine. 60 and 30 is fine. Although I said that would be someone that was born when I was in my 30s, I guess. That is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, dating someone that's born.
I guess I'd have to be in that situation to see. And this all started because of the Jerry Seinfeld random reference that I made. Yeah. But there was a picture that circulated a because he came out recently about like anti-woke culture or whatever. It's hard to be a comedian, blah, blah, blah.
It's hard to be a shitty comedian these days.
And people were started circulating that picture around. Like, this is also the guy who dated someone who was in high school while he was a well-known, like, American sitcom figure. And listen, that's where I will draw the line. I'm not dating someone who's in high school.
Someone you need to prompose?
Yeah. I do think, and I've had this kind of rule for a while. Age gaps are fine, right? Like, there is someone for everyone, and sometimes the age it just doesn't line up the way.
Where we have an age gap?
3 years is not. That's normal.
You like younger women, we know.
But if you can't drink legally, like
in America,
I should say, yeah, then I don't know if you should be dating someone in their 30s.
Okay, I was going to say, because like, what if I'm 22?
Different. Because I did, like, when I was 23, I had a girlfriend who was 20. That's I think the largest age gap in
Nick
anyone I've
said,
dated.
my close friend is dating someone who's now 46 and he's 31. I don't see an issue with it at all.
Yeah. Again, I do feel like once you hit 30, it's like all bets are off as long as you're going up. Right? So if you decided to date someone who is 80, I'm like, God bless you. Do your thing. Nick said, yes, if you can't bring your date to a bar, what are you doing with that person in the first place?
Milwaukee Tom said, I still love women older than me.
Good. Enjoy yourself. I don't even know how we got on that. Oh, yeah, the Jerry Seinfeld thing. Next. So
anyway,
we got Donut Dad.
Everyone go be a stranger danger donut dad. Like, talk to strangers that are adults.
And that's like the Instagram video that I posted the other day. About my splits. You never know. You never know when you say something.
Just a way for Anthony to bring up the fact that someone complimented his body.
It's just a way to remind people it's okay to have fun conversations with people.
Can you briefly explain what splits are?
So when someone asks you your splits in the gym specifically, it's generally it's asking you kind of what muscle groups you work out and how often per week.
Okay, so a stranger asked you that.
Yeah, I was ordering a burger at Little Woody's in Ballard, and the guy
doesn't leave Ballard.
I don't. There's really no reason to leave Ballard. It's also not easy to leave Ballard. Like, I have to do it today, and I'm not looking forward to it. But I am going to a mall, so I am looking forward to that. Love me some malls.
Big mall guy.
I want to do a mall tour.
Okay, finish this thought, Carla Marie.
So I was at Little Woody's in Ballard. I put my order in, and the
Little.
guy...
Little.
No,
Little.
Okay, enough, Carla Marie. Put the order in.
No, wait, is it little or Lil?
I put the order in, and the guy said, hey, can I ask you, like, what your splits are?
If I would have been there, I'm telling you right now, I would have been on the floor of that business.
So I told him, I said, well, the program I'm doing right now, it's 6 days a week, and I repeat my muscle groups twice. So I do chest, shoulders, and triceps one day. I do back and biceps another day, back, biceps, forearms, and then I do legs and abs another day, and I do that twice a week. And he was like, whoa, you do legs twice a week? I said, believe it or not, yes, I do.
You know, I would have been wrecked.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Anthony, while this was happening, he is just getting compliments on his physique. I'm at home fighting for my life and the cat's life. I was in our side yard with all 4 cats. It was a beautiful evening, light out, still not dark when I said evening.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear like a rustling in like the yard behind us, and I'm like, that's weird. What is that? And I happen to look over. I wish there was an easy way for me to do this. Maybe right here. Where's this? Oh, here. I'm just backwards.
Oh, God, watch the wall, please.
I hear rustling, and over the fence, I just see this. Wait.
A person?
A raccoon. And he's holding the fence, and he's like this. And I'm like, no.
You have 4 cats outside.
So now I'm like, they can't see this thing. Otherwise, they're going to lose their minds. Because they chase him from in the house, from window to window. Or her, apparently. It's a woman. And I'm going.
It's a woman.
I learned. And I'm
That
going,
raccoon is
and
a woman.
I went full, like, if it's a bear, and I'm going, no, no, please no. And I'm like this in the yard. And I'm like, how am I going to collect these cats? Because that's always a thing.
Yeah.
So the raccoon starts to go like this. I'm like, okay, it's going away. And then it goes, nah, you guys look cute. And he's the cutest little baby.
Raccoons are cute.
And I'm like, no. I'm telling you, this went on for like a minute of me like in my yard. If my neighbors would have seen me, which they didn't, I checked. The camera was broken.
I was going to say, was the camera on?
The battery's dead. So it starts running away. I start collecting cats. I put it inside. And then I see it. And I got a video and I posted it to Instagram.
I've seen that raccoon a lot recently.
Yeah, I found out. I'm finding out her name. My neighbor didn't know, but it's a she.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one that terrorizes birds, which I was like, maybe that's who killed the bird on the roof. But that's crazy. It got on the roof. Yep. We went up there this weekend to clean all like the patio roof down, and there are raccoon footprints everywhere.
On every wall.
Every wall, because she's climbing all over.
Yeah.
But the crows hate her because I think she takes their eggs.
Probably.
I watched her.
We have too many. We actually do need some crow control. So
It's insanity.
if that's what the raccoon's there for, God bless her.
I saw a crow dive bomb her while she was like running across the street, like dive at her. They'll kill you with that beak. Then last week I saw the same crow. Did I talk about how I hear rustling outside? I'm in the house and I look up because the crows are losing their mind and the raccoon is in the top of the tree, hanging from the electric wire, and the 10 crows swarming her.
I'll tell you what, raccoons might be the funniest animals out there.
They are,
especially because their hands, they're like
they
almost
look
human hands.
like, and they're like scuba, like they'll slap you.
There was a question in the chat, Carla Marie, from Mellow FM saying, which of the cats would chase the raccoon? And Wendy from Brooklyn said probably Erica.
It's tough.
I think it would be John.
I think it would be John too, but I think he'd chase and be like, I'm so scared. Chase. I don't think he would know what to do. Yeah. I think he'd be scared of it, but his that's what's hard. With all of them, we're like, to be honest, it might be Max. Max
will hit it first. Because Max will hit everyone.
Well, and that's what I want to know.
Not me, but
I honestly can't even answer this because I truly don't know. In the house,
thankfully, they've never been in that situation.
Caroline and Erica are the ones to kill a bug.
Yes.
But other than that,
John will do that too.
He's kind of dumb though. He's got a lot of muscle. He's a little dumb. This raccoon, I got to talk about it because it's gotten pretty close to me. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Can I pet it?
No.
Why not? Will it bite?
It could attack you, yes.
But how is it going to fight? Because it doesn't have claws, does it?
It's got like fingernails that'll scratch you.
You're right. I got a video of it going into our cat hut.
And they do have very sharp teeth.
But it's cute.
Yeah. So are baby bears.
Baby bear wouldn't eat you.
It'll hurt you. Oh, and we did find out, and this is something I guarantee you thought this too.
But do you think there are nice raccoons that you could pet?
I think if they're trained no, I would not touch a wild raccoon. Are you insane? You're insane.
Fuck.
I do think, if you can domesticate that, I think if you have them since they are born.
Well, I don't have it since it was born.
Exactly. Just like we met that skunk.
That was a cute skunk.
Right? Like the skunk there was someone that had a pet skunk that was like kind of famous on Instagram. They brought them into the studio back in the day. We got to meet the skunk. I would not go up to a wild skunk.
No,
but this was from a skunk breeder or something. Anyway, you've probably thought this because, and I just see Tacoma Swifty in the chat saying, also, rabies. You were probably raised thinking this myth was true.
Yes.
That if you see a raccoon during the day,
my mom immediately
has rabies.
It does not.
Apparently that's not true.
No.
That's just something that's circulated. No, there's a chance it has rabies, absolutely, but it does not definitively mean that just because you see a raccoon during the day,
right,
that it has rabies.
It actually could mean that it's like getting food for its babies.
Yeah.
So, I wonder where it lives. Like it probably lives in somebody's attic.
Probably.
Because that's where they go.
But Seattle's also like, because there's some foxes, there's coyotes, there's a little bit of everything in the city of Seattle. And keep in mind, we live in the city. We don't live in the suburbs of Seattle. And you have to remember that Seattle does have a lot of preserved greenlands, woodlands, in the city.
Like
we have
the food forest
we
I
have
talked.
Discovery Park, we have the food
Yeah.
forest, we have all these different areas that are protected natural landscapes or somewhat natural landscapes. So there are places for these animals to
Well, like I know, and
live and breed and whatnot.
it eats out of my garden, and I would like be like, oh my God, my strawberry's gone. That's so annoying. But like, where else is it going to eat? We took all of its land.
Yeah.
So I can't get mad.
No.
But it's grubby paw prints all over everything.
Let's see. Deborah Wilson 0082 said Gandhi on Elvis's show talks about wanting to pet a raccoon, and Alex, Elvis's boyfriend who works for the Staten Island Zoo, says absolutely not.
So Run Like a Husky, who is a vet, said you'll know if they have it, rabies. They act like they have a neurological problem, but
they walk differently. Because you can
Can
tell.
I send you a video and you tell me if he has it?
That raccoon is fine. Because you can tell that raccoon is acting much like a squirrel or any like wild kind of rodent would. But they'll do weird. I don't know how to describe it, but you'll be able to tell that they're not acting normally.
Like zombies.
Do you remember when you saw that crow that had the weird head? You knew something was wrong with it, right?
It was not well.
Yeah.
That raccoon.
Oh, Erica P said they'll act like they're drunk.
That raccoon has lived on my property or frequent my property since I moved there.
Yeah.
However, got a little brazen these days, and I think it's ever since I put that cat hut out and it got some treats.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Didn't I tell you that was what was going to happen?
And I was like, it's not going to be able to fit in there. Little I know, it's basically got one of those claw things you from as seen on TV as its arm.
Yeah.
It went like this. I have to find that video. We can play it.
And it grabbed all the food, right?
It's grubby. Like their hands are disgusting.
Claire said, did Carla Marie have leashes on the cats outside? No. Our patio area is enclosed. And even though Max did get out once.
Well, I put rocks there now.
Because she got under it. And they don't really they just want to lay in the sun when they're out there.
Yeah, they just lay. They don't
eat grass.
And
lay
they're
in the
not
sun.
alone. But Erica one time.
Oh yeah, that's also true. We never put them out alone.
They, for the most part, the fence is like just wood, right? Like it's wood slats. They can't jump and stand on it. They wouldn't even think to jump over it. Except on the front area, it's the gate, so it's got a ledge. And that was the day I talked about I was grilling outside with them, and I heard like a clink, like the gate opened, and I look, and Erica was standing on it, and I was like, and I got her and I swiped her. So she doesn't really go outside, to be honest. Like she'll go, if they go outside 10 times, she'll go outside 1.
Yeah.
She does not like the outdoors.
Tacoma Swifty said, that's what happened to me. I put out treats for a cat, forgot to bring it in, and at night, the raccoons came. One of the funniest moments, because I've done a lot of road trips in my life, and I've driven a lot. I was driving from the eastern side of Florida by West Palm Beach. Drove across Florida at night to go to Naples, which is on the western side.
Crocodiles?
I stopped at a gas station to get a water and a Monster. And I didn't realize that when I stopped at this gas station, I parked kind of close to the dumpster. And keep in mind, it's now like 11 o'clock at night. I walk back to my car, and I'm not exaggerating. There were a dozen raccoons that were positioned around the dumpster and my car like I was in, it was like the West Side Story. Like they were a gang that was like, oh, you're in our neighborhood, huh?
So what'd you do?
What you doing there, pal? I just very slowly, like I'm not exaggerating, one of the raccoons was laying on the side.
No.
Was laying on the side of the dumpster, just looking at me like this.
I love them.
Just
I think we need to
hand
train
on
this
chin,
one.
like, what's up, man? What you doing?
I think we need to train this one.
Thankfully they let me just get into my car, but I was very nervous. And they didn't move. They didn't care. They knew that was their space. I was the intruder at that point.
Yeah, so
Yes, Carla.
Jess from Minnesota said, one of my dogs has a GPS tracker. Yesterday, I got the dreaded pet left home notification and started the chase. Well, Jess, what?
Oh, like the pet left that. Oh, like the dog got out.
So is she all right or what? What's going on? There's no update. How do you say that? Tell us.
Oh, relax. She's still typing. Oh, so she's still on the hunt.
It's super easy to find it out. I can track every move and just drive around the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's got to be terrifying. But kind of like what we talked about with kids before. Now you have modern technology. Put a GPS tracker on them, good to go. Oh, got her within 8 minutes. Okay,
Oh.
perfect. So we do have an update, and it's positive. Thank God. Last thing we're talking about.
We need that at the Cats.
We're going to rewind a little bit and talk about our new best friends.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
So-
this is cool.
The reason we were at Golden Gardens and we saw the weird guy that talked about the attacks and Carla Marie talked to that child for what was too long for the child's liking, is because someone that we know really well, so a really good friend of ours that we met through work, is currently working on a project with Ryan Lewis and one of the former members of the boy group, boy band, Why Don't We?
Jonah Murray.
Yeah. So they're working on a project together, along with a videographer who's very well known in that space as well, Jason. So Jonah is releasing this project soon.
I'm so excited.
And we got to have him in this studio.
We pre-recorded an interview with him because the music's not out yet, and it's for when the music comes out. But we were his first ever interview as a solo artist.
And one of the reasons we were chosen to be the first interview for him was mainly because our friend that works with him knows us and knows that we're not going to ask like gotcha questions. We're not going to embarrass him. We're not going to ask him questions that he legally can't answer with Why Don't We and everything going on there. So she wanted him to have a safe space to do his first interview because it's a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is a scary
saying it.
thing for him.
He was afterwards. He was like, "This was my first. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember this forever." And we were like, "Well, hey,
Yeah.
he's 25. He's amazing."
And the person who's producing all of his music is Ryan Lewis of Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
So, by the way, you will get to see that interview that we did next month. We'll play
weeks.
it during Twitch. Yeah, and we got to hear the new music, and it's so good. So the event was some fans were invited. They played the music for these fans. Like some of it's not even done. It was cool, but yeah. So Ryan Lewis is producing his music.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd met Ryan Lewis before. Maybe
We met him at an event once, very briefly. It was like, "Hey, Ryan, this is Carla Marie Anthony. Hey, Carla Marie Anthony, this is Ryan."
That's
that was
right.
it. But I do want to say, Jonah, while he was here for close to an hour. The interview itself was probably 30 minutes or so. We were just hanging out, bullshitting, whatnot. One of my favorite humans.
he's so cool. Like such a good dude.
Genuinely a nice person.
Yep.
Talented, obviously. He can sing.
He's excited about his new music.
Man. And we thought, wow.
What a day.
This is, how great is this? We got to meet this artist. We've met him before, but in a group setting, it's very different. And then we got to meet Ryan Lewis, who was just as cool and just as nice and just as normal.
Like, even if he wasn't Ryan Lewis of Ryan Lewis Macklemore Thrift Shop fame,
Yeah.
right? If he was just a dude that I had met at Golden Gardens, I would be like, "Can we hang out?
Yeah.
You're awesome."
Yeah.
Like, he was he's hilarious, and not in like a annoying kind of funny way. I just met this guy.
Yeah,
He's
not
trying
like
to be a comedian.
Yeah,
like,
not over the top.
not talking about the attack. So the bar was low already. And he was just like super chill. What's up? And we were helping because we had to load up his truck after with everything. And Anthony got another compliment on his body by Ryan Lewis. So that's why he loves him.
There was a cooler that was filled with obviously like
I just never,
LaCroix and all
LaCroix.
that stuff.
big LaCroix guy, Ryan
And
Lewis.
if you're familiar with Golden Gardens, that we were by like where the bonfires happen, right? It's a beach.
Yeah.
It's a park and a beach here in Seattle. It's literally down the street from us. You have to walk through the beach and then across like a kind of like a football field sized grass area to the parking lot where his car was. So I asked if he needed help. He's like, "Yeah, we got to take the cooler out." So I said, "I'll just carry it over there."
And he goes, "You're going to carry that by yourself?"
I said,
And
"Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I think I can handle it."
He was like, "Whoa."
And we got all the way to the car, and he turns around and goes, "Man, you're jacked." But no, he was really nice. And what was cool was
I'm so like, we just kept saying this, the two of us afterwards. We're so excited for this group of people, whether it's our friend Sherry, Ryan Lewis, Jonah, and then Jason, who's doing like their content and helping with producing. We know
he's like their creative director.
We knew Jason before this as well, and they're all such great people, and they're all coming together on something, and it's so fun to watch. It's just, I can't wait for you to hear the music because you're also going to love it. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that makes you really happy about creative people coming together.
And I think from a business standpoint, you guys will appreciate this because it's what we do. They're doing everything independently. So it's literally the four of them. There is no major label behind them. And obviously, Ryan Lewis is familiar with the independent path, right? Because that was the big thing with Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. They did it independently.
I asked him so many random questions.
Yeah. But it was cool because he was also asking us questions.
Yeah, about radio, life, what we do now. I think we're going to get him on the show.
That's the goal, yeah. We're hopefully going to have him on the show at some point. He does not live here anymore, but the next time they're in town, he might drop into the studio and we might have him on. And that's one of the reasons that we actually redesigned kind of the layout of the studio. It's the reason we have this table. You'll notice that when we do post the interview with Jonah, this is a much more conducive space for multiple people to be in here. Cool. So Jonah was where Carla Marie is. Carla Marie was over here. I shifted over. There was one more thing I wanted to... the craziest thing about this project to me is as they're getting ready to launch it in less than a month, they're still tweaking lyrics. They're still adding verses.
Titles.
They're still changing some of the music.
So cool.
So much so that before they did this private listening event on the beach, which I thought was such a cool way to promote this music with Jonah's like core fans.
Yeah.
Our friend messaged us because they had been at Golden Gardens for hours because they needed to save parking spots and spaces. And again, this is just them. So all four of them are there. It's not like they had a street team that was doing it for them. They started running out of battery power. So she asked, because she knew we were in the area, if we had some extra battery packs we could bring. So I said, screw it. I'll drive down there. I know parking's going to be insane. I had 4 battery packs and 3 cables. Threw them all in a bag. Drove him down there, ran out. And apparently Ryan Lewis was still editing some of the songs in his truck, like on his laptop. And we had to go take one of the chargers out to him. And that's when I got to meet him first. Right. And he's literally just sitting there. One of the best.
What kind of laptop?
It was a MacBook. One of like the best modern day producers was just sitting in a parking lot in his pickup truck, editing music that's going to be distributed to like the whole world in 3 weeks.
And
it's kind of crazy.
When we got to hear that song over the speaker at the beach, he turned and was like, "Hey, that's one I edited in the car." And he said to you for the cable, then he say something like, "We got to put a thank you."
I said to him, I said something like, I asked him actually, is this the song that you edited? Because he had mentioned before he played it. He goes, yeah. He goes, this song wouldn't have happened without you, or something like that. And our friend Sherry is the one who jumped in and said, well, I mean, he should at least get a point, which means like a percentage point of the revenue from the song. Is I don't know about that. Maybe like a liner note. Maybe a liner note in the album art or something.
If it says thank you to Anthony for the cable, I'll die.
That'd be hilarious.
But there was something else to say. Oh yeah. So anyway, we also shout out to Watson's Counter because Jonah was like, because Anthony asked, can I get anyone anything? We're coming back, whatever. Yeah. So Watson's Counter wasn't even open, but our friend James, who owns it, was there working on some stuff, and he made a latte for Jonah. Anthony filmed a whole video of Operation
Yeah, I'll put that together today. Yeah. So, but it was a great weekend. I can't wait for you guys to not only see the interview, because I thought it was a really great interview, but the music is also really good.
So good. Some of it has like pop punk emo vibes.
And it all sounds very different. Ryan Lewis produced every one of those songs. And Jonah's the vocals on all of them. And
yes, Kendi said, I may be mistaken, but isn't Jonah from Minnesota?
He is.
It rhymes.
Yeah, I don't know which part.
Steel Creek, something like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's a Minnesota boy. Moved to LA pretty early, like in high school.
No, I think after. Well, yeah.
So, and that is where he still lives today. But it's going to be a lot of fun to get that out there for everybody. And with that said, how many more days for the boobs, Carla Marie?
Am I wearing 2 different color socks?
Are they
the same color?
Yes, they're the same
The
size.
lights made them look weird. Because I have 2 that look at that. Wow. 10 days.
It's time for us to get out of here.
10 days.
Thank you for hanging with us. We will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, there is a new episode of the Morning Show podcast available wherever you get your shows. And Carla Marie's Boob Podcast is in that same feed.
Milk Jug Monday.
What?
Milk Jug Monday.